Coaches are arrogant. Mike Gundy is very arrogant, and he doesn't care because I'll tell you this, that arrogance that he carries himself with is also what's made him an undersized, great player in not just football, wrestling, baseball, everything he's done. That confidence / cockiness / yes, arrogance is part of what's made Mike Gundy Mike Gundy. So that arrogance that he carries himself with, the comments he makes in the press conferences that just they just kind of irk you because it's just like, dude, you're so full of yourself, whatever. That really doesn't bother me. And even the comments that he made Monday towards the fans, that doesn't bother me necessarily as a fan, me particularly, because I could give a rat's ass what he thinks, okay? I've been coming to every single home game since I can remember. I grew up down the street from, if you remember back in the early 80s under Jimmy Johnson, one of the assistant coaches' name was Frank Falks. Eventually moved on to USC from Oklahoma State, San Diego State. I think he came to Oklahoma State from San Diego State. And so I got a really inside view of Oklahoma State football at a young age. I got to see the practices. I got to see the inner workings of it. And so I say all that to say that I don't miss games. I mean, I didn't become an Oklahoma State fan. It just happened. I mean, I grew up in Stillwater, and I grew up around the program, around coaches. And Frank had a kid exactly my age, Michael Falks, that we were really, really good friends. Kind of just, ran the streets there of our neighborhood in Stillwater. So I say all that to say Oklahoma State is so diehard and I bleed such orange. There's nothing that will ever drive me away. So I will never stop going. But the comments that Gundy made on Monday, whatever, they're so stupid. It would be hard to me. It doesn't bother me personally. Where it bothers me is as an Oklahoma State fan, in 2 weeks, in 13 days, I am going to sit in Boone Pickens Stadium, and I'm going to watch Oklahoma State get their asses kicked. Well, I say that with confidence because it's happened. I mean, we're not even competitive right now, right? Texas Tech can score, okay? They have a really good running back. Taj Brooks is really good, okay? Barrett Morton is really good. They have really good receivers, okay? They have really good offense. They are going to score every time they have the ball, unless a miracle happens. And, hey, it could. But we heard Mike Gundy say last night they're not even going to practice this week. So there is no reason for an Oklahoma State fan to think anything other than you're going to go in 13 days and watch OSU just completely get its ass kicked, okay? All right? So I'm going to go to Boone Pickens Stadium. I'm going to watch Oklahoma State get its ass kicked, and I'm going to do it, and I'm going to be sitting with about 30,000 fans. That's what's getting ready to happen in 13 days, okay? And yes, part of that is the shitty football that OSU is playing this year. Yes, part of that is the uninspiring brand of just motivation that Mike Gundy has brought. Hey, I don't disagree with Mike Gundy that keeping your cool, keeping a level head does help you actually think through crisis moments. So I don't have a problem with that as an overall rule. But where I have a problem with it is that everything needs to be used in moderation, because there are times to where things are slipping away that somebody needs to lose their freaking mind. They need to throw a helmet. They need to start hollering and screaming. They need to get in people's faces, and they need to make it uncomfortable for people. I'm not saying that needs to happen very often, because that only works every so often. Only so often will somebody yell at you before you really turn off and go, you know what, screw you, I ain't listening to that crap, right? So it has to be strategic, and it has to be every so often, okay? But there are times to where a coach needs to do that to his team. There are times where a coach needs to do that to an individual player. There are times where an individual player needs to do it to another individual player. So the stoic, keep your cool, don't get frustrated, keep a calm mind. I think overall that's a good philosophy, but I think he's missed the beat this year in the sense that it's actually removed a large amount of edge out of these kids, because when things started going sideways, I think they wanted to see that somebody was so upset about it that they're losing their mind. I think kids want to see that from time to time, and they didn't see that this year. So I'm telling a long story here to get to what I'm getting ready to experience as an Oklahoma State fan of 51 years. All the moments that we've had, Chris Rockins, the Ice Bowl, the drop pass in '88, all of the disappointments, right? Okay, the Tide game, the pass to Marcellus Rivers in 2000. I did not see. I was 3 years old when we beat OU in '76. I don't remember that game. I'm saying that to say, don't ever accuse me of not being loyal and true. Don't ever accuse me of panicking. Don't ever accuse me of wanting to jump ship as soon as things get difficult. That's the part of the comments that I think have Oklahoma State fans so upset as far as the meat and potatoes of it. And then I think the other aspect of it is, you mean we have a head coach that is so entitled that they can go 0-7 and play this shitty of a brand of football and think that he's still entitled enough to be able to go out and make that comment and then come back out with an apology that wasn't done. So like Coach Rainwater mentioned the other day, that whenever you make a mistake, you need to make that same apology in the same arena. Well, the Twitter apology didn't sit very well with Oklahoma State fans. So I say all that, I'm getting long-winded to get back to my original comment that, okay, when I go to Stillwater to Boone Pickens Stadium in 13 days, I'm going to watch Oklahoma State get their ass kicked in front of 30,000 people, and it's going to feel just like 1991. That's probably the thing that is really the most disappointing to me, upsetting to me, and I think some of that can be remedied by Coach Gundy between now and November 23rd. I think that's the date that we play Texas Tech, coming out and reconnecting with the fans. Here's what I would say, okay? I'm going to be there. You don't need to reconnect with me. I don't give a shit about you, okay? I give a shit about Oklahoma State football. I give a shit about us not returning to those days. I don't care who the coach is, right? Okay? I've loved Coach Gundy and that he's created sustained success, but if he's not the guy, it's business. I love Coach Gundy, but I love Oklahoma State more, right? Okay? So that's not the part of it. He needs to reconnect with all the fans that didn't grow up in Stillwater, with all the fans that have invested hundreds, if not thousands of dollars each year, maybe each Saturday, to come and support a program that, because they are so upset with the way this year has gone, and now because they are so upset with their head coach and the entitlement that he showed, they're not going to come. So I thought we were out of those woods. I thought Oklahoma State would get 45,000, 50,000 people at every home game from here on out, and we would be competitive enough every year to warrant that type of crowd. Obviously, we're not. So my plead with Coach Gundy between now and then would be, get on the mic, get on the TV, get on whatever it is that you need to do to reach as many people as you can and reconnect with Oklahoma State fans. Give them a sincere apology and give them the Mike Gundy that Oklahoma State fans love, that will make them want to come to the game on Saturday. And the reason why you need to do that is because Brennan Presley is a stud. Brennan Presley is the all-time receptions leader at Oklahoma State. Brennan Presley just entered a club with Barry Sanders, Thurman Thomas, and Terry Miller of having 5,000 plus all-purpose yards. That dude deserves every fan in the stands that you can possibly get. And if there is one fan that doesn't come to Boone Pickens Stadium because Mike Gundy's ego will not allow him to apologize properly, if there's one fan that doesn't come to pay their respects to Brennan Presley because Mike Gundy won't swallow his pride and properly apologize, he at that point is putting himself above the kids. Shame on you for doing that. So for no other reason Coach Gundy needs to come out and reconnect with the Oklahoma State fan base so he can put the kids in front of himself and make sure that they have the most amount of people that we can possibly put in the stands on November 23rd to properly honor Brennan Presley and an entire senior class that by and large has done good work at Oklahoma State. They have worked hard. They've spent a lot of time here, and they deserve fans in the stands. They damn sure don't deserve the head coach driving fans away because of his own ego.